friends. Hey, my friends. Happy Wednesday, September 10th. We are going to get started here in just about 4 minutes. I'm pretty stoked because I love the topic and I love the guest, and I'm really looking forward to this one. Plus, I'm going to show you exactly how cool I am when it comes to being like the Fonz of my coffee shop, which is a really weird conversation. Anyways, make sure you grab your water, you grab your tea, you grab your coffee. Come back. Looks like we got 3.5 minutes for you to get something warm and toasty inside your body, and then we'll be talking about customer journeys in your marketing. See you shortly.
For Patrick. Stop doing nothing, kick it into action. Hit that subscribe for your boy Patrick. Hop into a live and see the value packed in, charging more up front while building out the back end. Cut from a different cloth, styled in a different fashion. Niches be tripping, find yours and then cash in. GHL badass, grow and get another SaaS win. Don't know how? Just hit Patrick up and ask him.
Oh my goodness. I will never, ever get tired of that. That is, again, one of the coolest things I will ever see in my life. Good morning, my friends. Happy Wednesday, September 10th. I am pretty stoked today. A couple of reasons. You know, I have to admit, I woke up chock full of energy, bounded out of bed, got a walk to the gym, climbed up 15 stories of stairs, walked home. Everything's been hitting today. And it's funny how some days some things aren't hitting. And that's what makes the good days better. I have to admit, this is probably the first day of this week I've been at 100% energy. Had a wild and rough weekend. You know how much we party as 57-year-olds. We party, but I've been dragging a little bit. And these days and Wednesday so far, it's been really, really good. So I'm pretty stoked about that. Thank you for tuning in. If you've never watched before, my name is Patrick Allman, and you are at the Stop Doing Nothing show. It is happy. Where are we? We are in Oklahoma City. It's Wednesday, September 10th at 9:05 a.m. I run a digital marketing agency called Stop Doing Nothing Media. We are a high-level certified shop, and I am a CRM fiend. Have been for a long, long time. I love me some marketing automation, and I love me some CRM kind of work. Bald guy. Hey, Keith, brother, thank you. Appreciate that, man. Yeah, it's gonna go big in the morning. I'm still trying to shed some pounds and get some walking in, but if I walk to the gym and climb those stairs, man, those are what really burn the calories there. So we have a limited amount of time, and you have to get back to work. So I'm not going to waste too much time talking about myself. I want to briefly tell you about my guest and then bring her on. If you are in my world of marketing, or especially the world of high-level, white labeling, SaaS, all that stuff, you're going to know this lady's name. She's always on the tip of your tongue. And I thought what we would do today is not only what I want to talk about customer journeys, but I want to bring in somebody who has some additional marketing experience, who runs a marketing agency just like I do, to get another perspective. But as we are talking, please drop your comments in, because we're reading those also to get your take on why customer journeys are better than products. So let's go clickety-clack the right little thing right there and make sure I did this right, bring this beautiful lady on camera there. And there she is, everybody, the lovely Carrie Taft. She is, let me see, first of all, mic check, are you talking okay?
Hello, hello.
Yeah, there she is, And remind me where you are again?
Well, we recently moved up to Cleveland, Ohio, but our company is based out of Cincinnati, Ohio.
Cincinnati. Okay, so it's up in the C world. And can you give people just kind of a brief intro of what Taft Systems is? I mean, I know what you do. You're all over the high-level world, but here's the area where you can talk all you want to about yourself.
Absolutely. Thanks, Patrick. So Taft Systems is an all-in-one business management, concierge level support of service. So we have our SaaS clients just like you do. We help them with everything marketing and automations related, and really just streamline their entire business so that they stop duct taping their business with 7-8 different tools together, and we simplify their lives with one login. Now, that's one branch of our business. Another branch of our business where we thrive is our white label agency support. So if you're looking for someone to help you with that 24/7 support, making sure your clients are covered regardless of the day, the time, if it's a holiday or whatever, then you definitely need to come talk to us at Taft Systems. And then just like you, we are a certified agency. I think we have 9 certifications from High Level, and we love building in High Level. We love really just creating custom solutions for our clients. And that's a bit about us. Woman owned and operated. We're about 80% of women on the team, and we love helping others.
Got it. What's cool about Carrie and I is we run similar businesses. I have to admit, she does a lot more than I do. But we are an example of, and I think Carrie pointed this out the other day, I can't remember where it was, it may be in the certified admin forums, that we don't really we do a lot of stuff, but we really don't consider ourselves competitors. And we refer stuff back and forth all the time. And it's beautiful when you can have a relationship like that, with somebody. And that comes from just back in the day. I think that if you're brought up right in the world of business, you realize that there's enough pie to go around. No business in the world is going to service every single client out there. So there are plenty of places for referrals and plenty of things like that. And one other quick thing before we get to our topic I want to point out about, if you are someone who is in the high-level world, please make sure, this is promoting a third company, please make sure you get registered for the Level Up event here coming up in Dallas, because you can hang out with both of us. I'm driving 3 hours down. Carrie's coming down with her boyfriend. We are going to be there from before the first day probably until the end of the last day in ever. And you can hang out with us and learn all about what we do and have some drinks and have some good food and just overall learn. So today's topic is talking about, Charles, man, Charles is in. Very cool, Charles, Mr. Brother Higgins. I'll get you on here someday too. I want to talk about the customer journey because this is something in my world of stop doing nothing that I've realized that I need to build my tools more around. And it wasn't always like this. A lot of people in our world carry they're worried about selling one-off products, and I'm sure you have clients like this who. And I want you to briefly talk about this. But most people, it feels like in our world of digital marketing, are like today they come up with an AI course, and tomorrow they'll come up with a YouTube course, and then 3 weeks from now they'll have how to use your AI, to write an ebook course. Do you see that? Do you see that mostly, Carrie?
Absolutely, especially regarding the AI trend. I mean, it's a trend. So obviously, AI is here to stay, and we have to incorporate it. I don't believe the hype of if you're not using AI, you're left behind. I do believe if you're not using AI, you're working harder than you have to. But it is definitely a trend where people are kind of trying to get rich quick through AI. It's the same thing that we saw maybe a year or two ago where people were like, oh, buy my digital product that you can now resell with the private label rights, right? That was really popular about a year or two ago. So I definitely see that. And those are typically the clients that crash and burn fairly quickly because they're putting all their eggs in one basket. They're going all in. And then, 2 weeks later, they're shifting tactics. They never stick things out. They never try. They don't track the data. And then they basically burn out and aren't successful and they go back to working for someone else.
Yeah, and I also consider it. It almost feels like those people are you're always chasing something. If you're a product based company, it feels to me like you're always chasing. And Keith in the chat and Charles in the chat, I'd love your take on this also. And there's someone here named Von Doom in the chat. I don't know who that is, but I'd like your take on that also. It almost feels like though. And I've never liked that. I've never wanted to be that kind of company where I'm just always chasing, chasing, chasing. I would much rather be chased, to tell you the truth. And that's just the beauty about one of the things with our business model is if we do it right and if you plan it right, which we're going to talk about, you can be the kind of company that is chased versus doing the chasing. I know Charles does that with Pinnacle, and I know Keith, you do some of that with Bald Guy Marketing also. But really quick, let me go look at my show notes here because I kind of sketched out my talking points. So let's briefly touch on these different topics, Carrie. I'll give my perspective. I'd love to hear your perspective on this. I believe client journeys are important because it's a few things. Number one, you personally feel better because you're taking someone from point A to point Z. You're guiding someone through starting someplace, through getting to someplace else. This has some great ramifications if you're a service-based company because it also encourages people to stay with you longer versus coming and using a service and then what was I say? Oh, focus on obviously using your service, but also staying with you long term as you as a company grow also. So, do you see this at all, Carrie, with your customers? They stay with you longer once you have more to offer, kind of thing.
Absolutely. So the client journey is actually the entire foundation within TAF systems. We talk to our clients all the time about you don't have to be a tech expert. You don't have to be an AI wizard. You don't have to be some guru into marketing, but you do have to know all of the phases within your client journey. And the nice thing about it is that once you mapped out your client journey, that can be your North Star. So, regardless of how busy you are in your business, or how many new team members you bring on, or if someone quits, or how many new clients you're going to bring on, you can ensure that you know constantly all of the steps that need to take place. When you get a new client, or when you get a new lead, how many touch points before they either take action, book a call, download, whatever, sign up. And then once they've signed up, all of the steps that need to happen there, all your checkpoints, all your touch-ins. And then, if they cancel, when you reactivate them. If you are able to put that down on a piece of paper, it doesn't have to be perfect, but you will always have your map and your North Star to continue to build out your business and make it better. You can track what emails people are responding to. You can track, how many touch points you need to have. You can track the time that it takes from someone enters your ecosystem until you convert them to a client, until they cancel, like the lifetime with you. As long as you have that client journey, the possibilities are endless, in my opinion.
Yep, yep. And one of the things I've really done well is I'm trying to brand myself as Playmakers, and I have built what's called the Playmakers Journey. And it covers not only, the before, the during, and the after, like Carrie just talked about. These days, I'm getting more and more and more into, and I have to admit, I'm using AI a little bit for this, is the Playmakers Journey. And to me, it's taking somebody from like a free opt-in or a follower on social media. That's the very beginning of the journey until whatever possible high ticket product or paid product that you have. But I even have a diagram someplace when I was just really, really building this about it. I was on my Apple. I think it was in the Apple, one of the Apple products where you could put like little icons on it, and it was like a little baby crawling, and a little kid walking, and then an adult standing up, and then someone running. And I was like, these icons were perfect for identifying that. So I'm doing that a lot. And again, this is one of those areas where I mean, I do dabble in AI. I'm not going to say I'm an expert, but over in ChatGPT, I have created. And I discussed with ChatGPT the Playmaker's Journey, and everything I'm trying to do that day is more around that. And I was also going to mention that if you're a fan of someone like Donald Miller, for those of you who are familiar with the whole story brand process, that's what his entire brand is about. It's about helping people build stories. And the story brand, his book is one of the ones I listen to on audible.com, on the app on my phone when I'm out walking, as I love that whole story brand concept. So if I was to come to TAF Systems and I was to say, Carrie, I'm a starting real estate agent, and I want my clients to stay with me a long time, from the ones that just follow me on social media to the ones that actually eventually call my office and then start paying, and I want TAF Systems to help me. How would you kind of guide them from them just thinking, oh, I just want to do real estate transactions, which is what most realtors want to do. It's what I wanted to do when I was a realtor. How would TAF Systems guide them to start building a realtor client journey?
Absolutely. That's a great question. So we never want, our philosophy at least, is we never want anything to be transactional. It's not a one and done. That is not how you build a successful business that's going to have longevity, in my opinion. It's always much harder to get new clients. Client acquisition is much more expensive if you're starting over from scratch every single time versus having a client who refers you to others, or is a client for 10 to 15 years, and then they're ready to buy another house and they come back to you because they had a pleasant experience. Well, if you, A, don't give a pleasant experience, and B, don't continue to follow up with them, it is going to feel very transactional. And why should they come back to you? Might as well go find someone else that might give them a better price, right? So what we would do is have a strategy session with you, talk about the different stages that you already have, what are the main pillars or milestones, and we absolutely use AI for this to help guide those conversations and put it in perspective with like a flow. And then we identify, okay, where are your leads coming from? Already from there, you need to think about every lead as if they were a client and not just try to get them to buy from you, especially in real estate. That's such a long game. And so many realtors that we speak with, and I feel it's the same way for insurance agents, they give up so quickly. If they don't immediately see a return, they give up so quickly. And it's really about the long game, about building those relationships so that it doesn't feel transactional. So in kind of a long roundabout way, we would do a strategy session, get really clear on the milestones, and then identify what key touch points have been working and do more of that, essentially.
Got it. Thank you. As you were talking, I was also remembering you used a word which is very interesting. I don't think people realize the subtlety of vocabulary, and Carrie phrased it beautifully. She calls the people that she works with clients. She didn't call them customers. I don't know if you do that on purpose, Carrie, or if that's just something you've learned over time. I really learned it. If you've ever seen me speak or some of the stuff I promote, one of them is a video, a 31 minute and 20-second video from a gentleman named Jay Abraham, who talks about the importance of calling people and referring to them as clients versus customers, because customers are exactly what you said. Customers are transactional. But the way Jay Abraham puts it is really beautiful, is that clients are basically coming to you like a lawyer, like you'd go to a lawyer or like you'd go to a doctor, is that person is your trusted resource, which is kind of when I started kind of switching from the word customer to client also. So I'm really glad you used that word there. How do you track? I'm kind of curious. Let's get a little bit techie here. When you're building out like high level setups in the CRM, how do you, once you've identified it via the strategy session, how do you typically track that inside the software, Carrie?
That's a really good question. So what we do is focus on one stage at a time. And we do this because it's so much more palatable for the client to actually digest and understand what's going on. It doesn't matter how amazing your system is if you don't understand at least the principles of it, because you're not going to use it. That's just human behavior and human nature. So we want to make sure that our clients feel supported. And we really take, for those of you who don't know my background, I'm actually coming from healthcare and academia. And so we really take, I like to call it a patient-centered approach in terms of taking care of our clients, where not only are we completing the work and the build out and helping them with the strategy and caring for them as we're doing so, we're actually educating them, because we don't want them to feel like, okay, well, if we stop working with TAP Systems now, our entire business is going to go to shit. We want to build a system that's going to work for them throughout the lifeline of their business, and then they know that they're supported as well. And so what we would do then is focus on one stage at a time. We would put forth, obviously, naming conventions, tagging conventions. We do a lot of engagement scoring, a lot of custom fields, where once they've reached this stage, they get a field filled out, a note gets added, so that the client can essentially go to one spot and get a preview of the entire journey of where this person is and what actions have been taken. We're really big on writing notes. We're really big on identifying the different stages, so that if you have a salesperson and they are going to your pipeline, they can easily see in the pipeline what's going on. We're really big on sending out summaries, whether that be a weekly, a monthly, quarterly, based on whatever the client's need is, so that they know exactly where their contacts are and what's going on with those contacts. And, just post-call forms, things like that. So it's really, we want to make it easy for our clients to manage their clients. So they're not having to go pull up the CRM, find the contact, write the note, I called this person, go and make a note, and then go back to the dialer and make a new call and go back to the CRM. We don't want that to happen. We want to automate absolutely as much as possible, because A, you can't mess it up. If you get new people, they can't mess it up. B, it's going to be consistent the whole time. And C, what you can track, you can change.
Oh, beautiful. That last one, I wish people would pay more attention to that. What you can track, you can change. And what you can track, you can also improve, is another way I've heard that put also. I mean, you really can't improve any kind of KPIs if you're not tracking them. And thankfully, the tool that we use, High Level, is they're putting more and more effort into, I know Charles was on some of the calls. Charles was watching. He was on some of the calls to see they're really putting some effort into improving the dashboard and the KPIs and stuff like that, which I'm so excited about, because that's an area of marketing that I really love. I love seeing numbers. I love seeing numbers go up or go down. I love seeing green numbers that are good and red numbers that are bad. It gives you like an instant snapshot of the business. And as I was taking show notes today, I was remembering another good reason for you to have a quote unquote journey is that this may be a little bit ego, but it gives people you as a company, it gives people something to follow.
100%.
And when I was thinking about something to follow, I was like, I really did the scenes from like Forrest Gump, when he's like running across the country back and forth. He's not asking people to follow him. He's kind of on a journey already. And by the end of the movie, the guy just is in the middle of the desert and there's tons of people following him he never asked for. I don't know if that's a great analogy or not, but whenever I think about the importance of building a journey like Carrie's described, like a realtor or something like that, yeah, goodness, I lost my train there. Whenever Charles says something in the comments, I always in my train of thought. Oh, just the idea of being followed like that. And I've noticed with my world, the more I buy into this and the more I go into the playmaker's journey, it feels like my social media, I'm getting a little bit more engagement. My YouTube followers are going up, things like that. And so one of the things I would encourage people to do is just kind of sharing my journey as I build my journey, if that makes sense. My journey of journeying, or my journey of building a journey, is to kind of identify maybe some of the stages of the journey in your world, from a free opt-in or a $0 client, if you will, to possibly someone that's going to pay you, X number of dollars per month. Maybe your upper limit is $5,000 a month or $10,000 a month. If it is, very cool. I would love to have a $10,000 a month coaching package. I don't, but hey, fingers crossed someday. And what I've started doing for playmakers is saying, this is your title. I've started giving them roles. So here's my $0 clients. This is their role. Here's my small retainer clients. This is their role. And by role, I mean area in the journey right there. So dabbling a little bit on the AI side, because that's a topic I love. Carrie, can you touch on briefly how do you, when you said you use AI like I do, what kind of things do you do in AI to help you either identify that journey or help improve the journey? Really quickly, I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. When we bring in clients right now, I hop over into ChatGPT, I build a new project, and I copy like a description from one of my other projects, the description that says, this is your role, this is what you're here for, this is the kind of verbiage you use, this is the kind of verbiage you don't use. And then I use AI to write that journey. How do you use AI when it comes to building customer journeys?
Yeah, absolutely. I do want to just add one touch point on what you were talking about, like following through and the kind of the Forrest Gump analogy. Just from my background in academia and healthcare, I was a clinical exercise physiologist, and we work on people with changing their health, is that it's human behavior and human psychology, putting that into play as well. On if we're following things, we can see, you talk about those green numbers versus red numbers. Well, I don't know about you, but when I see those green numbers, I get hyped up. I get ready to go. My confidence gets built. I'm like, okay, I can do this, right? And that makes me want to do more of it. So I think you can use AI for this as well. One thing that we do is we have specific dashboards for specific metrics. We have we have a weekly, a monthly, a quarterly, an annually, plus past month, past quarter, past year dashboard. Obviously, a lot of those KPIs are the same, but the metrics are different. We get reports on those. We grab that information, plug it into ChatGPT, and we have ChatGPT give us an unbiased breakdown or overview analysis of how we've done. That helps us identify, okay, we need to be, meeting our KPIs here. We need to put in more efforts there. When it comes to working with the client, our very first discovery call is like a mini strategy session. We obviously record each call. We push the transcripts, not just the summary, but the entire transcript over to ChatGPT to make sure it gets analyzed, and then highlight those key points that we touched based on the call with the client. Because a lot of times clients aren't able to put things into words on paper as well as they are on their voice. So we take those, we put it in ChatGPT, and it really helps us identify the key stages. And then obviously from a marketing background, we understand, it takes about 7 to 8 touch points before someone converts to a client. If they're going to take action, obviously we want to set up things like, okay, engagement. Do they open the emails? Are they clicking on the emails? Are they responding to things? And then we check, like, lead to speed. We check, we compare dates on once they first enter to when they take the first action, and then how long is the life cycle or the sales cycle. And a lot of people don't know that data. They think they do, but when they actually see the numbers and get it analyzed, they're like, oh, wow, I had no clue. And they might uncover things that they're doing really well, not just the points that they need to improve. And if they know they're doing something really well, they'll want to do that more. So we are very big fans of ChatGPT. Another tool that we really like to use just to give us a visual for the clients to make it make sense is Napkin AI. It's a free tool, or I think they just came out of beta actually. So I can't remember if they still have a free plan or not, but they had a free plan for it forever. They just came out of beta. But Napkin AI is a great way of just taking your notes, plugging it in, and it will make you a flowchart. And that oftentimes makes the light bulbs come on from the clients versus us saying, okay, here's your project document. Here are all the things we're going to do. Here is, the 6-week build plan or whatever it is. That feels very overwhelming for someone who's running a full-time business and managing their clients and trying to do sales. And you know how it is, Patrick, wearing all the hats in your business. That feels very overwhelming. Our goal is to make the lives of business owners easier, not make it more complex with saying, okay, here's another tool. Here's an additional item you need to add in your tech stack. AI is your best friend. It can go through all of those notes super quickly, pull out everything that you talked about in the transcript on what your action steps are, things that we as humans forget sometimes. As a lot of times as humans, we're thinking more about what we're going to respond next versus actually listening to what's being said. But by plugging it into AI and getting a summary from that and getting those action steps, you're much more capable of creating something that has a lower threshold for frustration for your clients.
Got it. And some of the tools I use, by the way, I can't believe I didn't know about Napkin because I hang out with you and Charles all the time, and the both of you are raving about Napkin now, and it's one of the few AI tools I probably haven't heard about. My workflow in that area, because we all have different tools and different workflows, is I use ClickUp for everything in my business, and ClickUp has a lot of built-in AI stuff, but they have a meeting note taker, which is like many of those out there. It joins every single call. I don't miss any word any client says. These meeting note takers are amazing, especially the ones that do like AI summaries, because I will do exactly what you did. Matter of fact, I've done it probably yesterday. I've taken the meeting note taker notes out of ClickUp. I've downloaded a PDF of all of them, and then I fed it over into that ChatGPT project for one of the clients. And you're right, every word they say, every nuance, all that stuff is picked up, and it feeds everything else you're building for that client. So if you in turn, use AI to build their journey or use AI to build their content, it remembers every single thing that person said for those 2 hours that you were on Zoom. So looks like Charles likes Napkin. Notebook LM is another good one that I really love too. I love taking meetings like this. Like I can take like the Zoom, the live stream that Carrie and I are having, and we can feed it into these tools and get, you can get show notes. I don't produce show notes, but if you want show notes from us, I can give you guys the YouTube video, or it'll be up on YouTube, obviously, and you can feed it into Notebook LM. And then Gamma, was that the slideshow one, Carrie, that I learned that was in
Yeah.
that what's her name was talking about in Costa?
Yes, I believe that's when you said that you had learned about it. It creates PowerPoint presentations in 2 minutes, 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You can plug in your content, or you can say, hey, this is the core of my presentation. And then the AI connected with Gamma will create your entire presentation in 2 seconds. It will create documents. It will create websites or landing pages. I mean, it is a great, great tool. I mean, I've definitely used it to create even just beginning outlines to spark my creativity, to spark my inspiration. It's always so much easier to fix something or create something when you have a starting point. So plug in the notes and have it spit out something and you can be like, oh, okay, I like this. And it's interesting because when you're working with clients, especially when you're building things out, they don't always know what they want or what they like, but they sure as hell know what they don't like. They will be very quick to tell you they don't like something. So it's just nice to have a starting point.
Yeah. And we're talking about one of the better uses for AI. There's people, in our circles that just are trying to use AI for every single thing. I'm not. I like to use it strategically. And one of the best uses of AI is just taking a lot of information and summarizing it. I could read through a 1 hour transcription of a meeting, but that's probably going to take me another hour itself or another half hour to 45 minutes. But I can dump, 17,000 words into AI and get a quick 1 paragraph summary or a 2 paragraph summary of the key points. Okay, wow. I didn't realize this is a topic we could talk about forever. So let's let everyone get back to work. Carrie, why don't you, before I finish off and close down the show, why don't you tell people how people can track you down on social media, what your website is, all the really good stuff?
Absolutely. So super simple. Everything is Taft Systems, TAFT Systems. Website, taftsystems.com, Taft Systems on all the channels. And we'd love to have a chat with you. Our discovery calls, as I mentioned, are like mini strategy sessions or consultation sessions, completely free of charge. So if you have questions about building out your systems, your client journey, your automations, using AI in your business, or just want to shoot the shit about high level for 25 minutes, book a free call with me.
Got it. And really quick to address a comment, Von Doom. I don't know who your real name is, but you're asking, I would love a tutorial on how you use ClickUp. I've been mostly just stuck in the wiki. I would encourage you to hop over into the ClickUp Facebook group, which I'm in, and ask some questions. I'm pretty active there. I've got 2 or 3 people over the years who have asked me how to use ClickUp, and it's one of those things where I don't ever really want to do some ClickUp consulting. So maybe I could do some free training on it just to make sure that there's some things out there. I know plenty of other people have done some training on ClickUp, but you're more of a Monday person, right, Carrie? I think you're a Monday person or a Asana person, and I'm a ClickUp person, right? Basecamp. I'm sorry, Basecamp. That's right.
Basecamp all the way. I know some people are like, oh, it's too simple, but this kind of goes back. Von Doom had a comment about being very anti if you can't measure it, can't manage it due to shiny AI, shiny object syndrome. We don't care about vanity. We don't care about how we feel things are. Feeling is subjective. I can feel I'm doing great. I can feel I'm managing things fine. I can feel this. I can feel that. I can feel things are going to shit. But if I look at my KPIs, if I look at my Basecamp and I see, on that track hill and I see, where the arrows are and I can see the percentage of tasks completed or project progress, then I know things are being done. I know it's working. I can feel that I'm great on sales calls. But if I'm not getting sales, it doesn't matter how good I feel something is, then clearly something's not working. So if you can track it, you can have clear, objective, non-biased data that you can use and then change, tweak, manage whatever words you want to use to make your life easier, because now you're not just going to feel that you're doing something. You're going to actually be able to know that you're doing something and be able to work smarter. With AI also, right? We're working smarter, not harder. So I know I get a lot of flack for using Basecamp because it's so old and non-sexy, but we don't want the distractions, and for us it works really well. Obviously, we're big on automation. We're big on integration. We're big on tying all the tools together that we can. And Basecamp, we've tied it together with ChatGPT, and that works really well for us.
Sweet, sweet. And yeah, I've gone through all of them. I was a big Basecamp person back in the day. I have literally been through every single one of these freaking tools. And one day I just committed. I think my last comparison was I was doing a Notion / ClickUp comparison. And I realized Notion is horrific for anything task or project related. Notion is, in my opinion, a very glorified, very pretty Google Docs. But yeah, 37 Signals, they came out with the book. I mean, those guys had some really great products, and they still do. When I just put a comment in there that said they were a great company. No, they really still are a great company. I think I've never been to their office, but if I'm not mistaken, they're in San Francisco someplace, not too far from the Bay Bridge. And I walked by the building that they're in at some point. I've never been in there, never met the guys, but I know I've been by that building. So, and it doesn't really matter what you use. Just pick something and commit to it. ClickUp I love because it's got the whiteboard, it's got task lists, it's got client dashboards in it, it's got screen clips, so it's got like Loom type functionality. But man, just pick a tool and commit to it. These days, Von Doom pointed out about shiny AI syndrome. There are a lot of project management tools out there. Just, pick one and really commit to it. Well, you know what? I said 9:35, but here we are at 9:40. I know Carrie's got a ton of clients to deal with and some sales calls to get on. So, Carrie, thank you very much for joining me today. And it was very short notice. I just gave her I'm not sure if I gave her 60 minutes, an hour notice. Okay. Yeah. So I'm sure
I think you gave me like an hour and 10 minutes or so. Hey, what are you doing in an hour? I'm like,
Yeah. I realize that Patrick can talk all the time, but it's good to have some other voices in there. So again, thank you for doing this on such short notice. For those of you, if you really enjoyed this, because it looks like we had a decent number of viewers, make sure you put every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Who knows what I'll have next week? Charles, it may be you. You never know, man. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. As always, subscribe on YouTube. Do the whole follow, notification thing all over the place. Make sure you follow Carrie all over social media. Make sure you follow me all over social media. And again, for those of you in the high level world, if you're on the fence about the annual Level Up event in Dallas, I can't remember if that's the first time I met you, Carrie, but I know I've met plenty of great people there. I do vaguely remember sitting down like in that AT&T area with you and having lunch and like that outdoor.
That's the first time we met in person. Was there, and then we went to Costa Rica together, and we talk every day, a million times a day. So if you are on the fence about going to the Level Up Summit, don't be on the fence. You need to go. You'll know people. You'll know me. You'll know Patrick. We are meeting again for Patrick has an event that I'm like, you need to promote this more. He has an event that's going to be the day before the actual Level Up starts. Flying in early just for that event. And then, I'm sure we'll do some lunches and maybe some, late happy hours or something like that together. It's always a blast hanging out with you in person.
Yeah, it really is. And is Adam going to be there? Adam's going to be there, right? My buddy Adam?
Adam is supposed to be there. He might have to go to Houston for a little bit for work, but otherwise he's planning on being there.
Yeah, Adam is a running fool. Well, again, thank you for the time. For those of you that do watch, I really do know that your time and your attention is valuable. Thank you for oh, goodness. Really, Charles? Did you have to bring up that nasty Vegemite stuff, man? Johanna Walt really screwed me with that video someplace. Oh, goodness, that was painful. Yeah, again, thank you for watching. We'll play a quick outro here. You guys have a great day. If you've ever got also some show ideas and some interview ideas, please, email them to me or get them to me somehow on social media. Let's have a great day. Go out there and make some money, and we will talk to you guys next week.